With the 100th Grey Cup game coming up this weekend, it's a privilege to be joined by one of the all-time greats of the CFL, Michael Pinball Clemons. When he retired as a player in 2000, his number 31 jersey was retired with him by the Toronto Argonauts to honor him for his outstanding contribution to the team and the community. He went on to become a successful head coach of the Argos and later an executive with the team. But Pinball still holds the record for most career all-purpose yards with 25,396 yards over his 12-year pro career. But Pinball, one of your records was recently surpassed by Chad Owens earlier this month.
Isn't he amazing? This guy is so electrifying, and what a personality.
Yeah.
And he works so hard, and what I love about him is he loves his family too. He's got 3 kids, little kids, and his beautiful wife Rena. There's just such a wonderful family man to go along with this huge talent and personality.
Now, you greeted him on the sidelines.
Yes.
After that big event. He surpassed your, it was a single season, all-time purpose yards.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
and so, did we see the picture? Oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
You say, wow, way to go.
I was pretty excited. So I was pretty charged up. I picked him up in the air, and you know, it was so great. And I realized I had him up in the air, and and I realized, oh, I should put him down so he can go see his family, because there's so I just got so immersed in everything.
Yeah,
so
well,
consumed, I should say.
I guess so. And that's one of your trademarks, Mr. Enthusiasm, and you pass that on to others. It's very infectious. Now, Pinball, you were also honored by Canada with a stamp. There were commemorative stamps for all the teams in the CFL because of the 100th Grey Cup year, and then so there's number 31 on the front of a stamp. What was that like for you to see your picture on a stamp?
Well, you know, I think it bodes to the fact that I'm so overrated. You know, as a player, first of all, there's so many guys that go into, you talk about the record for all-purpose yards, right? There's so many people that go into making that happen, of which I'm the smallest of them, literally. And so you got, you know, on any play, you got 12 guys that are out there working. I'm just one of them, right? It takes all of them to make that happen. So the overwhelming amount of people are out there doing the work, and that's a lot of that, much like it is in a team. So to have one person represent a team on a stamp cannot possibly encompass all that a team is, and especially a team over the course of what is 100 years. So it's an amazing, amazing honor, but you can't possibly be worthy.
And then on Saturday, there's something very special that we want to invite people to as well. Tell us what's happening.
The Grey Cup Breakfast, the annual Grey Cup Breakfast. It is one of the longest events, maybe the longest event that's at the Grey Cup. I know it's first started in the 70s, and it's a large event where there's always players. There's players from both teams that attend the event. I think one of only 2 events that the players actually guaranteed to attend, the guys that are playing in the game. And at this event, guys come and they get a chance to share and talk about not just football, which there's some films and some highlights and that kind of thing, but they don't just talk football, they talk life. And more specifically, they speak of their faith and share their faith in Christ and what that means, how that affects their day-to-day life, and what it means to be a football player and to try to balance these things, and being on a team where there's so many different views and opinions and thoughts. And so it really is a time where we get a chance to know the players more intimately. And there are always other people that are in the audience, you know, the great coaches of today and yesterday, many general managers. Wally Bono is usually there. Bob Obilovich is usually there. Guys who are staples, you know, in our community and on that football landscape. So there's tons of people there, lots of excitement, usually some good entertainment as well.
All right, and that is this Saturday. So we want some information come up on the screen for everyone, because it's not just some little breakfast. It'd be like 1,500 people in a room.
So you got to be sure to be there. It is so great. You get a chance to. These guys are playing in the big game, the big show the next day, yet they take the time out the morning before. Both teams, usually the coaches from each of the teams are there as well. They get a chance to interview and talk a little bit as well.
So GreyCupBreakfast.ca is the website, and that's you know, know, I think Athletes in Action is tied into that.
That it is. Athletes in Action is the umbrella organization that runs that. There's a chaplain on each team in the CFL. So each team has a chapel leader. There's a chapel that takes place before every game. And a lot of people don't know this, but the guys are actively engaging their faith as the season goes on.
All right, so tickets can be obtained by going onto that website. Now, Pinball, you talk about these various players who've shared at the breakfast, and they're well-known big football celebrities, but they also have a story to tell that's so important to them that they want to share it publicly. And you're one of those. Of course, you've spoken at that breakfast in the past as well. But since we have you here, maybe you could take some time to maybe share some of your own personal journey of faith in your life.
My mom was a single parent. She said, okay, I didn't necessarily get this in the order that I wanted to, but now I got a responsibility, and she raised me in the church. So we went straight from the hospital down to the first pew of the old Baptist church there, and we have an old church that was first built in 1890. A lot of history there, and still go back to that same little church in Dunedin, Florida, where the Blue Jays train when I go back home, and so we were raised in that, but it wasn't really until I got to university where I really understood, because until then I just did it because my mom said I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, she was only 5'2", right? She's a little lady, right? But she's tough, man. I'd rather face any linebacker than her, right? And so there was a time period where I did this, right? And I really felt like it was my own relationship, and I really loved the Lord. I enjoyed going to church, but I wasn't really sure that it was mine until I got away from home. And when I went to university, what a great experience that is, because it really tests you to understand what you believe in.
That's a place where a lot of young people, they end up there, they leave, you know, their nice nest, protected nest, and then they get, and a lot of the basics of what they have believed, that they can either solidify them or can get kicked out from under them, because you know, some questions starts being asked that maybe they haven't had those questions, and it's a very challenging time for a lot of young people.
Well, you know, I think as we go through those things, God tells us we're going to go through challenges, and He tells us that the testing of our faith is not a bad thing; it's a good thing, because it goes on to produce better fruit over time. And so, as we go through those things and those tests, and I found that, you know, when I went to school, you know, I still had no desire to drink. I still had no desire. You know, guys tried to you know, get me involved in different things. I had no desire to do those things. I still read my Bible and still tried to live for Him. And that was probably one of the richest times in my life, and really engaging and really working hard to understand what I believed and being able to communicate that in a room where there's many different views, and was a real time of growth, I believe, and real rich time.
Absolutely, and then of course playing football during that time. And so what was it like on the field to kind of live out that faith as well?
Well, you know, on the field, I think there's things such as, I mean, I played hard. I love to play the game, played hard. But I tried to play within the rules. I tried to play within the confines of the rules, and I think that's part of that spiritual, moral, ethical base that's in me. Tried to play within the spirit of the rules. We always tried to do that. Tried to play with sportsmanship, right? You know, there were times where you could hit a guy low, right? And this guy may have hit you 2 plays ago, right? And you want to be smart, right? If it wasn't necessary, listen, let's not do that. Our job is not to injure. So I think morally, ethically, and I think also the spirit that you played with, right? Just that desire to go out and please God because of the talents that He's given you, and trying to be a faithful steward over those talents. Just played, I believe, with the wonderful joy and zeal for the game.
And then off the field, Pinball, you obviously had your faith was lived out beyond the field, because so much into the community, helping others, and even to the point of establishing your own foundation a little while back. Talk about the importance of that and what, even about the foundation, what it does.
Well, our foundation has partnered with a group called Free the Children, and we have a few years ago, 3 years ago, we committed to building 131 schools in developing countries over 5 years, and this is year 3. We're officially at 100 schools right now, and we've got a campaign coming up in December where we hope that we might be able to finish the last 31 in December. So that's coming up real soon, and we're real happy about that. But for me, the key here really, we can't do that by ourselves, and it really sounds like bragging. It's really the generosity of great Canadians, and it's one of the things for me that my heart cries out is, as a Christian, right? If we love the way Christ intended us to love, we would have come out of the recession from building new churches, right? And for me, the greatest representation or the greatest manifestation of a love of God is how you treat people. Mm-hmm. And as Christians, just, engaging and practicing, living that love out on a daily basis. Really, when we talk about being peculiar, our ways in being peculiar is not in the technical things we do. It is our heart, the way we love. And so just really petition us to try to embody that love of Christ.
And that really was Jesus' bottom line when he was asked about, okay, what's the greatest commandment that we could ever do? And he says, okay, well, basically it boils down to 2 things,
yes.
Love God and love others.
That's right.
and the love for God just kind of spills out and flows out into a love for others. Yes. And that's the heart of Jesus.
It is. And love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself, right? And
that's it. And
I want to say that for me, my challenge is currently really just being too comfortable in my faith, right? People know me as a Christian. They know me as a philanthropist and a person who tries to help and to love. And for me, it's not being comfortable there, right? It's reminding, hey, listen, you still need to stay in your word and read your word. Yeah, I know you grew up in it, and you know, but God needs to talk to you through that, right? You need to take time and spend time. Busy person need to spend time in prayer. And so for me, right, I am challenged at this point, and really just be careful not to become too complacent. And so I want to, this Grey Cup week is really about the competition, the challenges, the spirit, all the coming together, all those wonderful things. And I need myself this week to compete. Right? To compete for Christ, to get in my word, to remember to be diligent about that, not being a comfortable Christian. And yes, I try to actively love. It's something that I try to do every day, but that still doesn't mean that I don't need to engage God on His platform on a daily basis. Make sure that I just humble myself and come to Him and not think that I've got this thing down and got this thing right, that I'm the model that you should be looking to. No, I should be looking to the model, right, and trying to reflect that.
Well, that's like the Apostle Paul basically said, not that I've arrived, I haven't arrived either, and that's the Apostle Paul. He said, but I press on toward the mark. That's a daily thing, and as an athlete, you would know how important that is to be, doing those daily type of workouts, whether it's for your body or it's for your spirit and soul. And so the ongoing daily thing. So that's a good word, good challenge.
You
for
brought
all
up
of us.
another point, Ron. I probably need to do with that with my body too. Both of those things.
I certainly do. Yes. Well, it's going to be a great week, Pinball. I mean, one more time, let's have the information come up for that breakfast, the Grey Cup breakfast coming up.
GreyCupBreakfast.ca.
There it is, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and get your tickets there online. And a great lineup of speakers sharing not just about football, as you said, but about life.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Pinball, great to see you.
Listen, great to see you as well. God bless you. And it's wonderful being here with you.
Okay. Thank you for that fun.